So this is the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and I also have here alongside it some accessories from Spigen, one being a case and the other one being a screen protector. So I figured in this video we can unbox all three of these things and then also just give you my first raw impressions about the phone. I've mostly used all Androids, so iPhones are still kind of new to me, or kind of getting used to them and stuff like that. I've used an iPhone 13 Pro in the past. I've also used the iPhone SE 2020 edition, so I know a little bit about iPhones, but not enough to call me a fanboy or anything like that, or someone who knows iPhones really well. They're still relatively new to me, so yeah, I figured let's just go ahead and unbox this thing. So this is the silver colorway. I wasn't really feeling the purple one or the gold one and black. I usually get my phones in black all the time, so I figured I'd change it up a bit and go with silver/white this time around. One thing I want to mention is that I like that Apple devices or Apple products come in this cool box where it showcases the product right here and then. Some Android phones I think do that, but most of them are just a plain box and just say the name of the phone. This one, you get the phone right on the cover so you know which device you're getting. And I think the Pro models used to come in black and now they come in white. I don't really care about the color of the box. I just think it's a pretty cool looking box, and it's thin, so you know you're not going to get much in here. So opening it up, that's one thing too that I like, that Apple includes these pull tabs. So all you gotta do is do that. So this is the 256 gigabyte model as well. So just in case you were wondering, let's see, what is this experience like? Okay, I thought it was supposed to be a pretty easy experience, but I guess not. It's because I'm an idiot. There's a pull tab down here as well. I am an idiot. So as you can see, iPhone rookie here. So yeah, there's a pull tab down here in case you didn't realize or didn't know, as obviously I didn't know because I'm an idiot. So there you go. So that's why it didn't come off easily, but there it is. Silver, white. Never had one before. It looks pretty clean, not gonna lie. I think it looks pretty clean. I don't like these though. I don't like the glossy finish, the silver finish. It's very fingerprinty. I mean, right away, my fingerprints are being picked up right away, but it does look pretty premium. I will admit, it looks pretty shiny, clean, and new. So that's nice. Besides the phone, you just get your USB-C to Lightning. So in here, you get no SIM injection tool because it's only eSIM, and then your stickers. That's all you get. So let's go ahead and take this little thing off. Nice. Nice. So yeah, you can see, I don't know if you can see here on the video, but you can see right there the new dynamic island, the new pill hole cutout. So while this is turning on, I'm going to go ahead and look at the Spigen stuff. So that's aside. Let's take a look here. So first, the case. This is nothing crazy. It's just simple. It's a clear case. Little pull tabs here, I guess. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, god damn it. What what is this supposed to pull off? Oh, this. The outside. And that. Okay. So how does it look with the white, the silver? Does it look clean? Please tell me it looks clean. Yeah, it looks pretty okay. Okay, it looks pretty clean. I like it. I just like that it adds a little bit more grip, might as well just continue on here, and you can already see the dynamic island there. It looks doesn't look revolutionary to me, in my opinion. I'm sure the software is going to be cool, but just from just by looking at it, it doesn't look revolutionary. It looks different, that's for sure. God damn. You know what? I don't even care. All right. So in case you were wondering, this is what you get. You get two screen protectors, so you might get a pretty easy process here as far as installing this thing. Looking at this, boom, there's that dynamic island. That, like I said, it doesn't look revolutionary from just seeing it from here, but yeah, nothing crazy there. So let me pull out the iPhone 13 Pro real quick. Look at that, that's pretty cool. It's showing my email there, but as soon as it recognizes that you have a new phone right next to it, boom, just continue from your old phone and it just lines it up right away. We'll do that later, but look at that. Pretty good, decent size comparison there as far as the 13 Pro to the 14 Pro Max. I know I don't have the 14 Pro, like the smaller one, but I just want to show the notch difference there. I personally think that this is a little bit more intrusive because you're losing out on this area of screen, in my opinion, but I don't know, it's my opinion. Let's see, let me whip out my other Android phones here. So I guess it's kind of up to you to decide which one you think is less intrusive. Personally, I think it's pretty obvious. This one, any of these ones are less intrusive than this, but the software might not be as nice. As far as size comparison too, like you can see here, they're all relatively the same size, all pretty big screens. So if you like big size phones, you're gonna get a pretty big size phone on all of these phones, except for obviously the Fold 4 here is a little bit thinner, but once you open it up, it just pretty much covers up an S22 Ultra and an iPhone 14 Pro Max altogether. So yeah, but it's up to you to decide which one you think would be more useful as far as size, but as far as like these four, same exact size. Obviously, you have your 13 Pro here. That's a little bit smaller. So if you prefer smaller, you would obviously want to go for the 14 Pro instead of the 13 or 14 Pro Max here. But otherwise, as far as these ones, they're pretty much the exact same size. Let me go ahead and just do a quick screen install in case you're curious about the Spigen screen protector. And then, honestly, this is just it. This is the unboxing. That's all you get. All the exciting stuff about unboxing it. So I'm gonna spend the night with it, and then in the morning I will give you guys my first impressions on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So yeah, let me go ahead and install that screen protector. I used to work at Best Buy, and I used to have to do this, so I should be a pro by now. Whoa, that rock. Jesus. I probably shouldn't do that. But it rocks, in case you didn't know that. So then I just want to take the back film off here. So this says back on it, so... Oh wait, that's the actual screen protector, bro. What? Okay, here we go, here we go. All right, so there we go. Be careful, because it seems that this sticker is stuck. Okay, don't talk, because otherwise you're gonna get it looks like I just, oh no, I put this on top, and then next thing you do is you press and slide. What I was saying is be careful, because this sticker seems, this one right here, that's probably not gonna focus on it, because if you can see it, this one right here was stuck on like the other sticker, so it was pulling the whole screen protector off, so that was kind of annoying. And then what's next here? So hold sticker, remove from here, okay, and peel it off. Okay, still a decent chunk right there. It's not coming off, but so I guess you do that. Goodbye film. All right, so the film comes off, and you can use the squeegee, and you can use the fiber cloth here. That's why you don't scratch up the protector right away. Not that this would, but you know, it's something I learned when I was at the old days. This also does cover over the actual notch or screen protector or whatever. Not notch, the dynamic island. Sorry. Either way, I digressed. So yeah, for now, that's been it for the unboxing. So I will see you guys in a little bit once I use this for a little while. All right, so it's the next morning, and I just wanted to give you guys my first raw impressions here. So starting off the design of the device, it looks exactly like last year's device, which, I mean, if you're not a fan of the way that the phone is designed, then you're probably not gonna like the iPhone 14 series or Pro Max series here. Design, personally, I think it's okay. I'm probably gonna have the same complaints that I did with the 14 or the iPhone 13 Pro on the iPhone 14 Pro Max here, but pretty much the exact same design. So from afar, you probably won't be able to tell it's the new one unless you're looking for small specific things. One being the color. Personally, I have the white, so you probably can't tell it's the new one from afar. But if you look for the lens size, the lenses are a little bit thicker on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I think that's because there's new lenses in there. And then you're also, if you look for the SIM card slot, there's no SIM card slot on the iPhone 14 series, only on the iPhone 13 from last year, because iPhone 14 is now eSIM only, at least here in the US. Next thing you notice is on the front, one being the new dynamic island, and two being the slimmer bezels. I don't know if it's that big of a difference, but they look a little bit slimmed down. I'm not sure again if it's also because this is a Pro Max and this is a regular Pro that there's a difference in the bezel size, but I do feel like they're a lot slimmer now. And I also have to appreciate the fact that it's just symmetrical throughout the whole display. It doesn't get thicker at the bottom or something like that, like some Android devices do. So I gotta appreciate that the bezels are pretty symmetrical and pretty slim throughout the whole display. But that dynamic island, I think is pretty cool software-wise. So like, for example, listen to music, go home, boom, it's showing that you're playing music. You can tap it to get back into the app. I think if you hold it, you get into some quick settings there for the app itself. So I think that's pretty cool and pretty neat the way they implemented that. Also works with the ringer, so instead of it being on the side now, it now shows up on the dynamic island as well, which is pretty cool. But as far as how it intrudes into the display, like if you're watching content and stuff like that, I personally think it's a little bit more intrusive than the iPhone 13 Pro's notch or last year's notch. So let me give you an example here. You can see that the dynamic island definitely cuts in a little bit more than the notch. So right over here, you can see a little bit more when you're in the normal aspect ratio of the video. Of course, it's going to depend on the aspect ratio of the video. So in this case, it's using more of a cinematic aspect ratio, I'm pretty sure. So that's why it reaches almost to the edges, and that's why the dynamic island does cut in a little bit more than the notch. And when you pinch the zoom, you can clearly see which one you prefer. Personally, I still think both of them intrude about the same. I think there's like different like volumes or stuff like that you can measure to really see how much of a difference there is, and I think the dynamic island definitely cuts in a little bit more. Personally, I think it does, just because this little part of the screen here, it doesn't make much of a difference. They could have covered up with black bezels and it would have been the same effect in my opinion, but that's up to you to decide that. Personally, I think it cuts in a little bit more than the notch, and I personally don't prefer either. So if I had the choice, I definitely would prefer something like an Android device that most of them use just a little camera cutout instead of a big notch. Of course, Face ID and all that stuff. So no, I accidentally opened up Apple Pay. But yeah, basically that's the dynamic island for you as far as how it looks when you're watching a video. So personally, I still think it intrudes a little bit, but software wise, I think it's still pretty cool. I also want to show you guys real quick, if you're watching a video as a 16:9 aspect ratio, either one won't get in the way unless of course you pinch the zoom. So if you're not watching a video that has a more cinematic, I think, or wider aspect ratio, or longer, I don't know what's the best term to use there, but if you're watching a video like this, then you should be fine. But as far as software and OS, it's running iOS 16, so if you've gotten that update on an old iPhone or a previous iPhone, then you're gonna get the same experience here except for the dynamic island experience. There was a small patch when I first set up the phone. I think it was because of the dynamic island and stuff like that. It said for iOS 16.0.01 and specifically for iPhone 14 Pro series owners, so that's specifically probably for the dynamic island that I had to update a couple stuff. But otherwise, you're getting the exact same features, being able to customize the lock screen here. And also, before we get to the lock screen, you saw there the always on display, which personally I'm not a fan of it. I think it's a little bit too much in my opinion. I think they took the always on display a little bit, the term or the feature, way too serious. Like the display is always on technically because it's just dimmed down. They could have called it dimmed down display, honestly, but it looks more, I don't know, annoying to me, just because I'm used to something like this where it's just the time and then a few icons to let you know your notifications, and maybe down here a couple of things. It's, I don't know, a little bit less annoying, just because it definitely makes you think that the phone is still on versus off. The animation's cool that automatically, you go right into it, it dims down and then dims back up. And I think there's also features where it can base it off like your AirPod usage, your Apple Watch usage. If you walk away from the display or the phone itself, then it'll turn off completely. So it's there. I personally think it's probably going to eat up a little bit of more battery than something like this would. So I don't know, we'll have to see how that goes. So I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's cool that it's here, but I'm not a fan of the implementation personally. Like I said, it's more of a dimmed down display. But as I mentioned, the lock screen feature, you have the ability to add a couple more widgets, change up the time, the way it looks and stuff like that. So a little bit more customization available, which is pretty neat that they added. The depth effect, I think, is pretty cool, but for some reason, it doesn't seem to work that well on my 14 Pro Max. Now, I only did try this one photo, so it could just be the photo, but as you can see, it works perfectly fine on the 13 Pro, but for some reason on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, it doesn't seem to want to work. So I'm not sure why that's the case. Like, I even messed around with it with pinch to zoom, you can see it wants to try and add some depth into it, but for some reason it doesn't seem to want to apply. I don't know if that's a 14 Pro Max thing or if it's more of a photo thing. I don't know, but I just noticed that, and the fact that it doesn't work on here, but it works on here, it's just a little bit annoying. But besides that, you also have the ability to change up the way the wallpaper works on your home screen. So you either use the original, add blur, don't add blur, or you can just go for a simple color or a gradient, or even just change it completely if you wanted to. But besides that, it's pretty cool that they added some customization. And there's also, if you saw there, different focus modes. You can set up a different focus mode on each wallpaper and just switch between them as you please. So, it's up to you to decide that. I personally just think I'm going to stick with adding widgets here, because also, in case you didn't know, you can add widgets and also use the depth effects. So personally, I'm just going to stick with adding a couple extra widgets here, because I think that's more useful than it is adding the depth effect, in my opinion, even though it looks pretty cool. And the other new features such as crash detection and the new satellite stuff available only on the 14 Pro series, or 14 series I should say. But crash detection was also already available on Pixels, I believe. So right here, I don't know how well it works compared to an iPhone 14 series, but you have that option to turn on crash detection here. I noticed there was like a new settings that popped up a long time ago in my notifications telling you, hey, we've added crash detection and you can sign up for it and set that up. Personally, I haven't, as you can see, but it is already available on other devices as well. So it's not just something crazy new for the 14 series, but again, it might be different how it's used with the new GPS system and or settings and sensors and stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure how it all works. I'm also not entirely sure how it all works on the Pixel series, so it might be better on here or vice versa, or it might be exactly the same. But anyways, you do have that option available on other devices as well. As far as the camera, I did take a couple of photos and videos here and there, and they look like iPhone photos, or just really good photos in my opinion. The iPhone 13 Pro already was a good camera system in my opinion, that I'm not disappointed on the iPhone 14 series so far. Of course, there's new features and videos, so you can use the new action mode, which basically adds some stabilization, but there is a decent crop when you're using it. I personally haven't filmed on it yet, but there's that new mode available here. But as far as like just regular photos, regular videos, personally, I think it looks pretty good, whether it be on the front or on the back. I think it looks pretty good. Of course, you can go into settings and turn on your own photographic style, whichever you prefer. But personally, I just keep it on standard, and it looks overall pretty decent to me. So no complaints there as of yet, or nothing much to say besides saying it looks pretty good. First impressions that they're good. I think photos and videos look pretty good so far. The phone's also very smooth and fast. It feels pretty fast. It's got the Bionic 16 chip, so I think performance is just slightly improved from last year's. I don't think there's much of a difference. It feels exactly the same in my opinion. I don't think you're gonna notice much of a difference unless you're really looking into the benchmark scores and stuff like that, which personally I don't do. So for me, it's been pretty fast. So running games, you're gonna get a pretty good experience, smooth experience as well. The ProMotion display is super smooth, opening apps and stuff like that, closing apps, whatever. It's fast in my opinion. So I don't know if it's worthy of an upgrade from a 13 Pro series quite yet, but if you really want the latest and greatest, to potentially get it. But honestly, I feel it's very similar to a 13 Pro series. So that's been it for right now. I'm gonna test this out. Right now, I'm still working on the Z Fold 4 video review. Personally, I really love this device, but this is not the time to talk about this. But that's been it for right now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the new 14 Pro series, the Pro Max specifically, or just any 14. Personally, not gonna get the other ones, just gonna stick with the Pro Max. But that's been it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.